What's up, my comic book brothers and my comic book sisters from another mister? Today we're going to do a comic book review of Spawn, issue number 312, brought to you by Rated Comics. Let's get to it. Previously on the Cult of Omega, this is Cult of Omega Part 2, Gunslinger Spawn is gearing up for a savage battle ahead of him, and Al reaches out to an old ally. So we see Gunslinger Spawn in the barn getting his shotgun ready, putting the bullets inside. He doesn't know why or how he got to this future, but he does know they'll come for him. Eventually, they'll come. They always do. That's okay. He's ready for them. He's prepared himself by bathing in the barn's cold shadows. He has to seek out the darkness from time to time so his body can endure the sunshine. But unlike other spawns, he likes doing most of his work in broad daylight, mostly because his enemies haven't developed the same endurance for it as he has, but they've never been able to resist the temptation of an easy target, so he might as well give him one. And this dusty porch in some godforsaken patch of land is the perfect setting. All he needs to do now is wait as he smokes a cigarette and wait for the action to come to him. So meanwhile in Spawn's headquarters, Mark, he's been pouring himself over data readings and map sequencing for most of his day, just like he's been doing every day since Spawn brought him back to his secret hideout. Mark knows it's for its own protection, but that hasn't made it any easier on him. Jessica Priest walks in and she's like asking Mark, wondering if he knew where Al went. And then Mark is like, didn't I just say he had to go out? He had things he needed to do, but if you don't mind, Jessica, I'm in the middle of something, just let your boy do his work. So Jessica Priest continues peppering him with questions until he can't take it anymore. When he turns, Jessica Priest is gone. All we see now is She-Spawn looking good too. Well, says She-Spawn, when you see him, tell him I have to go out too. And Mark is like, I just don't get it with you guys. You guys just flick your costumes on and off and come and go as you please while I'm stuck here in this shithole doing all the work, but you get to dive in and out of shadows going who knows God wheres. Don't know how you guys do this stuff so easily. She gives him a little kiss on the cheek. It's like, oh, because response. But you know what? You should try it sometime. Anyway, when Al gets back, tell him not to wait up. I had a few errands to run. And Mark is like, errands? What the heck does that mean? So she's gone before she can answer that question. Now, as time goes off, the evening melts into morning as Mark continues his extensive research in tracking some of the other spawns that have been unleashed here on Earth because of Spawn's time rip. But in the back of his mind, he can't get rid of this one nagging thought. F it, so he walks away from his work, walks into the room, and he's like, Jessica's right. Maybe I should try being a Hellspawn. But he sees Medieval's costume lying on the bed, so he picks up the sword. As he attempts to lift it, it's like that Avengers Age of Ultron where all the heroes, except for Thor, try to lift Thor's Mjolnir hammer and they just couldn't do it. It doesn't budge. So he's looking to himself, that's just stupid. But he looks at the helmet and he's like, well, he gets surprised with this next move. He puts it on and takes some sassy selfies with it, and it's kind of funny. But now all of a sudden with the helmet on, he can finally lift the obscenely heavy sword. He's like, oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And if Mark can really see himself, Mark will recognize how silly he looks right now. The helmet is 5 sizes too big for his head, making him look like a human-sized bobblehead doll. And he's also too engrossed to notice a green glow beginning to emanate from the sword. As the glow builds up, so does the pain Mark feels like his atoms are being shredded by multiple Nightling bolts at once. As the pain increases, Mark simply blacks out, though his body continues to convulse. Now back into the barn, like clockwork, Gunslinger's wait is about to end. The only thing that bothers him is how fast they found him, as these crows, kind of congregate together. And it's curious how this small descending flock is a very small flock when he's used to about 100 crows at a time, not a dozen. But as they morph together, it becomes clear why it's such a small flock. And it's the Redeemer, and he pulls his shotgun and I'm like, yo man, that's close enough. You know what these bullets can do to you, right? He's like, I know. I've seen what your victims look like. Most times it was your fault. They got that way. Strange you follow me here, says Gunslinger. That's not how you usually do it. And Redeemer's like, I'm not following you, man. He's like, it don't matter. You're here just like me. I bet it was willingly though. You know where we are, says Gunslinger. And Redeemer's like, we're in the 21st century. And he's like, I figure I saw a bunch of contraptions and this house didn't make so much sense. How do you want to do this? Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to make the first move? And Gunslinger's like ready to throw down. And Redeemer's like, yo, my man, I'm not here for you. Not yet. I'm here to deliver a warning. Others won't be as patient as I am. They're now in the war against all spawns, not just you. And since you don't have enough sense to hide, you can see what that means. And other flux or crows coming over that happen to be not Redeemer. And Gunslinger's like, man, I'm ready. How about you? And Redeemer's like, things are different now. You're not going to be able to control things the way you are in the past. Trust me, I've seen the future, and neither of us will be able to stop what's coming. I wonder if that's a foreshadowing for the Scorched. Now that we know, now that I'm catching back up into this issue, after the fact. What about Cog? Is he part of it, says Gunslinger? And Redeemer's like, you'll have to figure that out on your own. So as he departs, other far more sinister and darker angels appear and swoop in for their kill. And these dark Hell's Angels or Heaven's Angels are like, don't let him escape, brothers. Gunslinger tosses a cigarette to the side, and Gunslinger allows himself a smile before some fun's about to begin. The first of his power tip bullets explodes, and he shoots, and it hits the target on contact, and that shall get their attention as his head explodes. Flank him! He can't disappear in the shadows. The Hail Spawn lose some of their powers when they time jump. And sadly, Gunslinger Spawn knows they're right about this. So they throw the knives at him. He deflects them or blocks him with this wood panel. He throws the chair inside of the window, goes in as Heaven's Warriors attack him. But what Heaven's Warriors have miscalculated is that this Spawn has been through this situation dozens of times before. He shoots, blasts them off, knocking them out one by one, ending their life. Now, the upside of getting pulled forward in time is the innovation that also move forward with these weapons, creating possibilities and results that even Gunslinger finds staggering. He shoots this sniper bullet, it hits his angel from afar, this pretty much takes a chunk out of him, and he realized, yo man, this playing feels kind of level, and he's kind of digging it, but he notices something from the side, and he gets tackled like an NFL linebacker tackling a punter. And this is funny because he just gets tackled from the side, and like some overseas military zone that's being raided, this battle festers longer than Gunslinger was hoping. The angels he's used to weren't nearly as trained or as savage as these. So he meets every attack head on with the same intensity as his enemies. On and on and on, Gunslinger fights brutally, doing anything necessary with whatever methods are needed. And he does it until the battlefield falls silent and their screams have all gone quiet. He wins this battle. Now in this panel, halfway around the world, Spawn is with Jim Downing and a resurrected Overkill and Cyborg. And Jim Downey's like, are they gonna be okay? And Spawn's like, do you care? And he's like, well, I do care, but do your Spawn thing. Maybe, when your anger wears off, you'll be able to resuscitate them or rejuvenate them. And Jim Downing asks, so how's Cyborg doing, the gorilla? And Spawn's like, I don't know yet. His metabolic rates aren't coping well with your blood. The infusion you gave him created a tornado. His body can't fire like Overkill's because it's regenerating slower than his. So I don't know if or how fast he'll recover. And Jim Downey's like, I can help. You don't get it, do you, says Spawn. You poison him with your blood. You might as well give him a death sentence already. And even if he does recover, he'll be a target for the rest of his life. They're going to be coming for him thinking it's you or me or another Spawn. The same with Overkill. So I think you've done plenty. Back off, Jim Downey, says Spawn. So Jim Downey's like, why not fix him with your powers? And Spawn's like, I can't. Not the way you think I can. I'm recovering too. Trying to regain the powers I lost when I ripped open that hole in time. The reason you're alive, Jim, that you're even standing here today, that cost me. It drained most of what I had. What are you talking about? What you used on me, just use on them. I was sending you a message, says Spawn. And Jim Downey's like, and now you've got nothing left? You have to show me off instead of saving Cyborg? That's some nice priorities. And this is referencing the previous issue. And Spawn's like, you poisoned them. I didn't know that. And Jim Downey's like, I thought you knew everything. Ice cold silence follows, and then Downey pushes Spawn past, and he's like, okay, this is done. My turn. So he goes over to Cyborg and tells him, it's okay, big fella, this won't hurt. So he uses his powers to rejuvenate him. In truth, Jim Downey doesn't know that, but a momentary mind meld digs deep into Cyborg's skull. When he backs away, Spawn notices Downing almost losing his entire footing. Whatever he did took a toll on him too. Miraculously, minutes later, the cybernetic gorilla seems to have made a dramatic recovery, but Spawn sees Jim hasn't done the same. His body continues to shiver. You okay, says Spawn. I'm fine, says Jim. Look, man, says Spawn, I'm sorry I came at you so hard. I had to protect him, but you can help with that. They're coming for us, all of us, and a giant war is going to break out. We can help each other. Join us. Get your damn hands off me, says Jim Downey. For me, You don't get to come here and threaten me, then change your mind. That's just not how it works. And then Spawn's like, okay. He uses his necroplasm to transport them, but he leaves Jim Downing with the final message. I used to be just like you. Thought I could do everything alone, that I could protect everyone. Instead, people got hurt, and some that I cared deeply about got killed. So you do your thing. Let me know how that turns out for you. A heartbeat later, Spawn, Cygor, and Overkill are gone, and Jim Downing is left to wonder if it was even worth coming out of his recent coma for all this. And that's where we end this issue of Spawn, issue number 312, Cult of Omega, part 2. Look, man, I'm wondering where in the heck Omega Spawn's at, but it seems like Omega Spawn is the backup character, behind the scenes character, working all this catastrophe, all this destruction, while meanwhile Spawn is trying to figure out what's coming next. But I'm looking forward to how this is going to turn out, and link in description if you wish to add this comic book to your comic book collection. Support the art, support the industry. With all that being said, Spawn, issue number 312. What you guys think of the comic book? Comment below, let me know. And also, if you like the content we're throwing up, you know what to do. Don't be shy, don't be stingy. Here at Rated Comics, we do awesome comic book reviews, comic book related content with the occasional comic book giveaway. I just got tongue twisted for a little bit right there, but this review is sponsored by coffee, so if you'd like to buy your boy a cup of coffee, link in description. But the greatest compliment you guys can do for this channel is by liking the video and subscribing to this channel. Thank you again for watching. Until next time.